So, hey, welcome in. We are just about to go live. We're about 7 minutes and 22 seconds from going live. So I see Kathy, SS Mold, which is, I figured it out. I think I know your name because of an email we were talking about, but now I'm not remembering it right now. John? No. Sam? I can't remember your name, SS Mold, but welcome in, Rhonda and Kathy, and it's you three. You three are the ones that are talking so far, so welcome into Milky Way Wednesday. Looks like excellent condition. That's good news. That's good news. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, there it is. There's the code. Actually, where did you put the code, though? Maybe it's behind this window, behind that window, behind this window. Oh, are you behind this one? How about this one? Oh, where are you hiding? Let's type in a wrong code, see what happens. I am connecting my iPad today. We're going to do some drawing included in today's Milky Way Wednesday. And I'm waiting for a code. There it is, 1159. Boom. Okay, they give me a different on-screen code every time, and so I was just looking for it, making sure that this is there. Nice. Okay, here we are. I'm going to go ahead and move this over to the left. Perfect. And let's zoom in on Joshua Tree, because I want to draw on the light pollution of Joshua Tree during today's presentation. Okay. Got a screen grab. Let's crop out the unnecessary stuff. That'll work. So, welcome in those of you who are with me already. We are going to be going live here in 6 minutes and talking about Joshua Tree today. Talking about the location of Joshua Tree and some of the success that I had with Alyn Wallace when we were out there last week, as well as some of the things that were tough, and just talking about cool locations that we found. And so it's going to be fun, talking about Joshua Tree, the adventure of Joshua Tree. And I will put it on this one, moving it in, and photo found. All right, cool. This will do it. Cool. And I have that on my screen, so we're good there. And I will leave those. That's perfect. All right. All right. Let's make sure that everything is golden. Bob is here. Thomas is here. And Matthew Costanza. Faster's here. Hey, everyone. Well, hello, everybody. Hello from Buffalo, New York, says Matthew. Bill Shipley says, good evening, all. Where is my chat so I can see the scroll back? We also have... I guess that was it. Bill Shipley was the top one. Good evening, all. Awesome. So, welcome in. Chris Whiting's here. Hey, Chris. Nice hat. May the 4th be with you. I know. It's a geeky thing to do, but I had to. I'd wear my Star Wars tonight because it is May 4th. And, well, why not? Why not? And this is my awesome new hat that Thomas and I have. Complete with the Photog Adventures on the back. I guess I'll show it closer. I think it's focusing on it. I can't look away, otherwise it moves it. That is the hat. If you go to merch.photogadventures.com, you can do that. You can get one of those too. Join us. Join Thomas and I. All right. Those of you who are here with me right now before we go live. Hey, Paolo's here. It's so late for you, man. Awesome. Welcome in. All right. Awesome. Coughing. Well, those of you who are here, other than my cough, tell me, how's the sound? Sound good? Looks like it's solid. I'm expecting it to be, but let me know if there's anything odd about it that I haven't double-checked for. And we are looking solid. 3 minutes and 10 seconds. I have this. I have this. Lots of information there. What else do I want? I want to go here to the guild. Yes. And... let's load this activity up. Let's zoom in a little bit on the guild. Maybe just a little bit less. All right, cool. Here we are. Sweet. Looks like I got everything I need. Woohoo! Hey, Faster. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Faster. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome to your birthday. I'm not sure what I was thinking there, but congrats on your day, and welcome to Milky Way Wednesday on your birthday. Bill, sound is good. Thomas, good here. Matthew, sounds good. Awesome. Jerry says hello. I think I said hi to Jerry already, but if I haven't, hey, Jerry. And I think we are solid. We are about, and the sound confirmed. All right, awesome. All kinds of presents are welcome, like Z brackets or V, if you know what I mean, Aaron. You don't by chance have any more of those over here? I don't know. I don't by chance have a Z or V mount right here, ready to do a contest for, but faster. Birthday notwithstanding, I will not send you that for your birthday. If I start that, if I have broken the plan and now people can tell me it's their birthday and I gotta start sending them stuff, I'm gonna be in trouble. So no, I will not send it to you. But hopefully, a little bit more luck. Think faster, give faster these presents next time we do a giveaway. I'm not sure when the next giveaway will be, but it's going to be before June. Sometime this month, I will do the other giveaway to give away the rest of these brackets, because it will be very beneficial for all of us to have them for a panorama. And June's our last panorama month, and so let's get them to you before you have it. Laurenciu, hey, and Viet Win is here. Dave Amaki, welcome in. Howdy. All right, I'm down to a minute. I am down to a minute. Let me double check that I have everything I want over here. I need to get a hold of some other files. I think I will be just showing them off. I have some movies that I think may not be that simple to load up. I don't know, Google Earth. Yeah, let's get Google Earth going. What else is lacking? I don't think I'm going to need Photoshop. I'm going to close that. Close Photoshop. Google Earth is on the wrong screen. Let's go ahead and put it here. Minimize that. Lightroom is up. Let's go ahead and close out some of my other browser windows. Final minutes, final stretch. Let's do this. And kablamo. Yes, nice. I think we've got it. I think we have it. Hey, Mary Beth is here. Awesome. Hey, from Dublin, Ireland, Bastera. Hey, welcome in, Bass. Awesome. I'm stoked to have you. And we're final second. Let's go. Let's get rolling. Milky Way Wednesday. Initiate. Hey, it's Wednesday again. Welcome back to Milky Way Wednesday. I'm Aaron King with Photog Adventures, and tonight we celebrate the Milky Way. Every Wednesday I do a live stream, and I want to put some information out there for those of you just coming in and maybe all of those who've been here before. I am going to change this up just slightly. Change it up, and it's going to be for the better for all of us. What I'm going to do starts tonight. First change tonight. I'm not going to do longer than an hour. I am only going to do 30 minutes. We're going to keep Milky Way Wednesday to a tight 30 minutes. The other thing is I'm going to do a change that I will not bring up right now because I want to just implement it next week and let you see it, and we'll talk about it next week. So the change will be slightly different than what we've done. It's not anything big. It's going to be better, way better. So it's going to be a win for everybody no matter what. Let me put that memory card over there. So awesome. I have a slug of photos, Chris says. He says, bum, bum, bum. I have a slug of photos to go through after my 4-day, 3-night Nevada Mojave adventure. Oh man, I bet. When you go to Mojave, here, I'll show you something on Google Earth when we get into this presentation, but there's a Mojave area that between Joshua Tree and Las Vegas that I drive through. That there's some neat rocks that are pretty Joshua Tree-esque. Hello from North Carolina. Hey, Phil, welcome in. We are live for Milky Way Wednesday, and we're talking Joshua Tree. We're also talking this. And so I just want to push out there a notice that Spencer's Cameras was here last Wednesday. Yeah, was it only last Wednesday? It was. Between the workshop, it was. No, that was the Wednesday to cancel. 2 Wednesdays ago, Spencer's Camera and also Clarence Spencer and Mary Beth Kaczynski were with us. And we were talking about Astro-modified cameras. This is an Astro-modified camera. You can see that I have a little H-alpha filter drop-in right here that I can slide right in between my IRIX lens and this camera. Mine. This is Clarence's. I'm borrowing it. He trusted me with this, and I went out to the desert and captured some photos with this Astro-modified camera. Quick information about it. 1, the IRIX is a pretty awesome lens. I like it. It's weighty. There may be something off, Clarence, with this lens. I could not get a clean focus. I don't know if it has always had clean focus, and in my experience, it's going to be like a, what'd you do? When you grab the camera, and it's like, I put it in my camera bag, and I drove somewhere, so I didn't do anything with it, but the focus could never get that tight. But I know that IRIX, famously, Kathy can vouch for it, her IRIX, her 20mm IRIX, that has a perfect focus, true at infinity, and it's really easy to get focus. So I wonder what's going on with mine. I had a tough time with that, but I had no trouble with the camera itself. Let's see. Let me grab that memory card and put it back in here. I think I have the battery still, so I can show you the back of my screen stuff. This being a Canon was very easy for me, obviously, to use. I had no trouble. It had very little changes to it. And let's get the big chat up. Why not? So it was completely nothing for me to learn. I guess the battery, no, it's in here. Have I burned through it? Man, it really is. It really is off. Looks like I burned that battery. So the excitement of turning the camera and going, see a picture, it's over. You won't be able to see that, but that's okay. I'm going to show you the actual pictures. I have loved this EOS R6. In fact, I haven't said that yet. It's an EOS R6. I got snagged on a cable. This R6 is probably on my list now. I really, really, really loved how instantly I could see the stars. I didn't have bright monitoring like the Sony guys have, and Mary Beth makes me jealous with it all the time, but it was really, really bright. Now, because of the Astro-modification being H-alpha, there's some benefit in there that's helping me see the stars and sky as well. As you'll see in these example images tonight, you'll see my comparison of the 5D Mark IV to the EOS R6 of the same spot, and how I see so much more of the terrain with this EOS R6 than I saw with my 5D Mark IV. So I've already got a benefit. So IRIX lens copy variation, Ryan Luna says. Yeah, it's just, I don't know if it needs to be adjusted or what, or just the variation within this version of the build. Other IRIXs are great, kind of like how Rokinon can have some bad versions of it. And this one, I just did not feel like I could ever get a tight focus, and I'll show you. So I loved immediately how much I could see on the back of the screen. I had 17 stars to choose from for focus instead of 2. I didn't have to go for Antares if I didn't want to, because I didn't need it to be a bright star to be visible on my screen. If you guys are familiar with my version of panoramas, I tip it up and I look for a star. Like typically Antares is right here, and I put it on the 3rd, and then I take a picture. And then I rotate my camera until Antares goes off frame, and then when it's off frame, I take a picture again. And then after I come back from that picture, I look for another star in my frame. Usually there's about Vega showing up around the edge of my frame. So I'll move that Vega to 3rd, then I'll take a picture, move Vega from 3rd to center, take a picture, center to other 3rd, take a picture, and then Vega off. So in short, it's kind of left 3rd, middle, right 3rd, off. So I take a star and I go all the way across. And that's how I get my overlap into panorama without turning my lights on and needing to see any of the notches on my ball head. With this camera, whether because it's an EOS R6 or because it's Astro-modded and I had so many stars to choose from, I was watching my foreground for my panorama. I didn't have to look at the stars only. I could see the foreground in the shot and go, okay, turn a little bit, boom, take a picture, turn a little bit, boom, take a picture, turn a little bit, boom, take a picture. It was easy. It was so easy. Okay, Aaron, you know what? If you want to do this 30 minutes thing, you're going to have to start talking quicker. I'm going to put this down, Clarence. And I'm standing it up. I'll put it down softly. All right, moving on. Let's get talking about this location that we went, and we're going to go into Google Earth together. And let's move this window out of the way before I show you. Oh, I don't want that in the way. Come on, Google Earth. Come up top. All right, here we go to my Mac. Oh, that's right. I had to change something about my Mac. That's right. This is going to be a different screen. Right now you're seeing my files, which is fine. But let's go ahead and change this to a different screen. Ah, there you are, my friend. I'm going to move me back over here. In fact, Google Earth would probably hate if I blocked the logo, so I'm going to put myself there. Awesome. So here we are. I'm driving from Utah all the way down to Joshua Tree. And if you've never been to Joshua Tree coming from the east, then when you're going through Las Vegas, there's an option to drive through the Mojave National Preserve right here. You come across the border in Nevada, and once you go through Primm, I guess you go a little bit further, because at this turn right there, you can take off on this road and then drive some side roads all the way through. And this is what I wanted to point out to Chris as he went to the Mojave Desert, because as I drove through this area, I passed by these rocks right here. And these were pretty interesting. Let's see if I can get myself a good street view. Anything? Here's a bubble. Let's see if I can get a nice 360 image here. And transition. Yes. Okay. So you can see you get some cholla cacti, but then I really liked these rocks right there. They're not so bad, and it's on the way as you're driving through and you're thinking, one of these days I should stop there. So Chris, my question for you, have you captured some pictures from this spot before? When you were talking about your trip in there, did you happen to see that as well? This is I saw a sign, viewpoint, the boulders viewpoint. Yeah, they call them the boulders, which is obvious. They're boulders, right? So then you drive all the way through. You keep going till you pass by Old Route 66. Keep going, keep coming down here, and then suddenly you are in the Joshua National Park area, Joshua Tree. As I'm up here, I want to point out the first challenge of Joshua Tree. The thing that has made it that my 4 first trips to Joshua Tree were all busts. One of them was with Paolo. Paolo and I were out there, and we're at Skull Rock right here, and it was terrible. The clouds, just enough clouds showed up to bring in all the light from back here. All of this Coachella Valley, Palm Springs light. It was horrifying, and I'm going to show you that right here on my iPad. So when you've got this area in Joshua Tree, let me open up this picture to give you an example of where that is. I'm scrolling too fast. Went right past it. Okay, scroll slower, Aaron. Scroll slower. Where's that picture? I just did it for the Guild. Let's open up the Guild. Let's go to the Guild. I did an article for those members of the Guild. So if you're already a member of the Guild, you'll see this. If you just go to the Guild and look for the Joshua Tree, the 2 places we absolutely loved article. And in this article, better move myself over here. I'll just do that so you can see the Guild. Oh, they can't see my face very well. Oh, well, I'll go underneath the Guild. Here, Aaron, settle on that. Settle on that. Here's the Joshua Tree article. You can see a picture Alyn took of me looking out at this awesome conjunction between, this is Venus, Jupiter, and the moon. And it was just a thumbnail moon. It was so sweet. So, Alyn, thank you for this picture, man. And the areas, I have the GPS coordinates, I have the information, but I have this picture right here. And I thought I had that over there. But let's just go ahead and open this picture in a new tab. So you can see basically where Arch Rock and Skull Rock, or Arch Rock and Solitary Rock are. And I'm going to use this to kind of mark it myself right there and roughly right here. I'm going to zoom in. I am drawing on something that you can't see right now, but it's because I'm just setting up. I'm going to mark that based off this picture. Oh, come on. Perfect circle. Perfect circle. There we go. There we go. Okay. So now we're going to go back to my iPad. You can see how these 2 areas that were fantastic, with this one being the Arch. Ooh, that is very impossible to read. Arch Rock. And this one over here, I'm just naming Solitary Rock right now, even though it is paying, this tree is worshiping it as it's standing out there. But these 2 areas are still in a high Bortle scale. Let's go over to lightpollution.com. Oh, I didn't open it up on here. I opened it on my iPad. That's right. Lightpollutionmap.info. If you haven't gone to lightpollutionmap.info, it's a great up-to-date location for getting the light pollution of an area. And you can see how right there, here's the drive, here's the drive. Let's click on this spot right here. That is a Bortle 3, and over by where the Arch is, how much does it change at all? It is a Bortle 3. So we're getting a Bortle 3 in both locations, and so these are terrible. I'm going to go ahead and minimize that for the ad benefit. I don't want the ads on here. That is an area that I wouldn't drive out of my home to go to unless I was looking away from the light pollution. So I want to emphasize that looking away. Let's do a color that will stand out. How about that orange? That orange would be great. So we have this kind of slice right here where you are looking away from the light pollution. Have the Milky Way over there, and you will have great success because it's out over a dark spot. If you have the Milky Way over here, you're looking into the worst of it. Let's go to my Lightroom and show off that worst of it. So, here we go. Here's a quick pano. In fact, let me start with just the 5D Mark IV panos so that I don't show what the new way look is. Okay, so fast, scrolling so quickly. Okay, maybe I am looking at the regular one. That's not the 5D Mark IV though. All right, go to quick view. Let's just see it fast. Quick collection. Here we go. So this is a pano over these rocks, and here is the 5D Mark IV version of it. And the 5D Mark IV version of this, now I'm probably best over here. Let's just center me. You can see how the light pollution begins on the left side over here, starting to leak in, but it doesn't ruin the Milky Way as we look over that side that I'm pointing to. This area. We're looking over here, so we get this. And you can see how, maybe less than that. Let's do 12% zoom. You can see Alyn's right here getting his shot, looking over these rocks. We had just captured Arch Rock, and on our way walking out, we couldn't resist putting our bags down and trying some other stuff. And so you can see how it's nice and dark until you get up here to 29 Palms. Well, if I continued over here to the right, you will see this. And that is what sucks. Absolutely the worst. Light pollution in Joshua Tree. I mean, SS Mold said it. It absolutely is horrifying to look that direction. So that means, what can we do? We have that Milky Way right here at this time of year. Let me go into photo pills. Let's bring up my iPad, go to the planner, and let's go to some of these locations. Let's load. Point of interest. Did it update? Probably not. I doubt it updated with my Joshua Tree one, so let's just go ahead and fly there. Out of wherever the heck I was. Oh, I was up in Oregon or Washington. So let's go down into Joshua Tree and show off this area, and specifically those rocks. Here we go. Skull Rock. Let's go to Jumbo Rocks Campground. This is where you want to be for Solitary Rock. This is the area. Solitary Rock is this right here. So then I am putting my pin down, and we're looking at this Milky Way. Let's change it to right now, currently. And if you go outside tonight, your Milky Way is from there on the far east down to the south, almost southwest, just a little bit of southwest angle by the time it's 4 a.m. in the morning. But if you go to the next month's Milky Way, let's go to the new moon in June. The new moon in June, it starts here and then spends most of its time creeping vertically into that light pollution. That light pollution is this. This is a totally vertical Milky Way right here. And then if you go over underneath my picture, you're going to see how any Milky Way after that is going to leach into this. And I should probably say that it's going to be more like here vertically as it comes up. Because as time goes by, it gets completely south to southwest. And that is what you're getting into. And it's the... Every time I've gone after workshops and I go in July or August, it's so hard to pull that Milky Way off of this. But if you have cloud, any thin layer of smoke, anything, it's going to really paint it up. And this was a clear night. And so you can see how this little cloud over there, nothing, but that bloom is insane. So you have to go early in the season. That was the biggest challenge initially in Joshua Tree. Well, I've been talking about these rocks, and since I'm trying to keep this quick and do it only 30 minutes, which is not my natural ability, let's be honest. Keeping things to 30 minutes is not natural for me, so I'm going to just cut myself off and go quickly. In this area, you can see all of these pathways that I have. You know, this one right here where I accidentally drove away from it and continued down here. I'm like, oh, I'm still recording. Turn it off. And that is our last area that we're going to talk about tonight. But that first area, Arch Rock, that I'm bringing up, there we go. It is here. If you go in the park on the 29 Palms entrance and then continue and go left immediately, you go down this road and enter White Tank Campground, and you get to White Arch Rock. There is a path here for the nature trail to walk to Arch Rock and come in. But if you want to be a little bit selfish, that Alyn Wallace and I were, we parked right here next to a camper and walked up this pathway. And I'm going to show you roughly what that looks like right here. May 4th and the RAWs. No, not the RAWs. Where are those videos? It's in OBS assets. That's right. I'm looking at a folder that has these videos that I want to pull up right now, just one at a time. So let's go ahead. Oh, that's right. I want it to be just Windows Media Player is fine. Just go for recommend. Just there we go. You're actually not going to show the video because it's an iPhone. Is that what's happening? Here we go. This one's going to work. Oh, of course. Of course. Fantastic. Thank you, Windows. So you can hear it, but you can't actually see it. That's awesome. So I have to do an edit for you to actually see these in there because they're coming from an iPhone. They have HEVC version, and I was not anticipating that. I thought it'll be annoying that I have to scrub this way, but unfortunately I have to turn them into a different format. So I won't show you guys the videos of us arriving, but you walk from this spot right here and just go up a quick hill, and you're behind the campsite. So as long as you show up, park, quietly shut your door, and then just don't laugh and make noise and just kind of walk to this point, you're out of their way. They don't really care that you're there. You're up a hill away from them, and then you can continue walking the like 25 yards to get back here behind this rock into Arch Rock. And Arch Rock was fantastic. This is Alyn Wallace's first picture of it. This is an edit he did early on, and he said it's okay for me to share it with you guys. So this is, oh, gotta move me out of the way. There's his pano from there. And I think because it's a little bit dark right now, oh, I bet you can see that. I can see underneath my lights in my studio that you can make out the detail. From this position, he is crouched up against the rock that you can see right here. So inside, up on this flat spot up there, he's wedged in and looking at the rock at that angle. So you can see me talking about it in this video that you're not seeing the full frame of, which I'm glad I grabbed still frames from because it's not pulling up. And you're looking at the rock from this perspective to see the Milky Way going up and over, and Alyn pulled off this pano, completely tight pano. I'm standing right here. You can barely see it, but he's cloned out my tripod right there, and then he's looking all the way to the far left, to the far right, pano over Arch Rock. It's quite fantastic. I think Chris Whiting had a picture that I've seen. Not Chris Whiting, but Chris, I'm forgetting the other Chris's last name. Darn it. Sorry, Chris. And I saw his picture in Woodruff, and I saw his picture in the Guild, and it's looking pretty fantastic of this arch. In fact, I think I can just show it to you. Oh, here we go. There's the Guild. And so since he heard I was going to be in Joshua Tree, he started sharing some more pictures of it. There's Cheryl's cool home. I love that picture. Hudson, great shot. Blake's image of Trona. Where were you, Chris? Where'd you share your last picture? Chris. Let's search for Chris's posts. Everything with Chris. Chris Woodruff. Let's see his activity, his posts. See all activity. Because he did share an Arch Rock picture. Here's his response. Oh, that's where he shared one of his pictures. Oh, this arch. This is the secret arch. Right. If you're a keen eye, you saw the name of that secret arch. And Chris is so active, it's going to be hard to find his stuff. He has a great picture of this arch. Believe me, it's fantastic. So right here, from this spot, this happened. I just got to show you guys this. This was so sad. As I am capturing my pano next to Alyn, all of a sudden, so here's Alyn in the pano. You can see him in the frame. All of a sudden, where is it? Oh, it's before this. Yeah, got to keep going over. All of a sudden, I hear the sound no one ever wants to hear. And here's a better view of him. You're going to see him in more detail. This is how he's crouched in that rock right there. And it's all been moved around because of the I brought in all those Astro-modified pictures, and so now everything's not in order. Come on, where are you? Oh, that's a bummer. I'm so excited to share that. I imported everything. So excited. I shouldn't talk like that, Alan. Sorry. His camera comes off his tripod and falls 5 feet and hits a rock, and then rolls off and then rolls down to another rock. And you have it entirely in this. You see a white light and then a white light where it traveled. And oh, it's so heartbreaking to be next to someone out in the dark when you hear their camera fall. It wasn't the new one that he had just gotten from Clarence Spencer, but it was because he got Spencer's camera to modify his A7R4. And he didn't drop that one, but he dropped another one that's quite recently purchased, and it was very devastating. But it would just damage the lens, thank goodness. Oh my gads. I wish I could have found that picture. These things have all completely moved around. Sorry for that. So now I'm worried that I'm taking time just trying to find that, and we've got that picture not even here, so we couldn't even find it. Let's go through the Joshua Tree stuff because I'm starting to lose my head. Let's get this back. Arch Rock, easy to get into. Let me show you the guild article because it'll be the easiest thing to show off how easy it is to get there. My internet just slow right now or something? Maybe because I'm live and I got all that stuff open. I am taking a sec to load here. Awesome. Here we go. So in the article, I point out the pathway, the best pathway to go. Bring myself over here. And as you're underneath Arch Rock and trying to fit in there, this path I was talking about, I drew it to walk in. And then as you're coming out, you can see the campsite right here. This is the campsite that we came right around and get up the hill, and we're out of the way. You know, we're no closer than the other campsite to them right there. And then you walk into Arch Rock. So Arch Rock, fantastic, gorgeous, really nailed, really talked about it too much. Let's move on to Solitary Rock. Because Solitary Rock is my favorite, my absolute favorite new rock that we found there. You can see Alan approaching this rock. From this angle, I have the big set of boulders blocking it, but it is so much better than that. Let's see this next picture. So from the road, you're going to park right here and go past the campsite, another campsite we have to walk around, and you get back into this Arch Rock. But watch Alan approaching it right here. Watch the Milky Way. That's what I wanted to show you. The Milky Way right here, leaning in towards this isolated rock, and then the Milky Way core going through there. I wonder if Alan has posted this to his Instagram yet. I'm going to get my my iPad out of the way. Let's go to Alyn Wallace. Alyn Wallace. Check out his pictures. Oh, cool. Hey, there's a picture of me. Awesome. Is that the only one you posted so far, Alan? Oh, I want to see that other Solitary Rock. Blast. He hasn't posted the other one yet. He only posted me. Oh, well. Too bad. I got to hit like on this, though, while I'm here, of course. Oh, wait. Check this out. Oh, it's just more of the same conjunction. Awesome. How do I actually like in this? On this app. It's funny. I have to hit this? Nope. I don't even know how to like from the website. Oh, well, I'll like it on my phone here soon enough. But his picture of this rock is got to be amazing because we focused on him getting in there. He got low, and he has the curving arch. The Milky Way is coming up side by side. I think he waited for the Milky Way to get a little bit off to the right here. And at this spot, I'll go to Google Earth. It's right off of Jumbo Rocks Campground. And if you know Skull Rock, you just got to drive past that, just a little bit more south of that, and there's this campground right here. And you drive in, and you go to this first spot right here. So let me show you a picture of the pathway to get there from down below. Oh, that's Elephant Rock. Let me close that. All right, there we go. So you can see between... Okay. All right, now I can quickly blitz back and forth. So you can see the parking spot, how there's sand on it, and this parking space goes underneath. You go past this rock in here, come around, and then work your way up to this rock and tree combo right there. And it is perfectly looking away from all the light pollution of many campers and out away from the city, and it turns out to be a fantastic single shot. If you wanted to have not a panorama but a single frame that you're looking straight at the rocks, straight at the core plus a cool rock feature, this one is it. It turns out terrific. Let me see if I can get a better angle of it in one of these other pictures. I think I do. Oh, nope, I go right into Joshua Tree. I go right into the Elephant Rock one from that point. So I was going to depend on the video a little bit more there to show that off. But just know that this pathway that you're getting there, very close. All of these are very easy to get to. Drive right up, walk a few yards, and you're there. And these two locations, I had never been in Joshua Tree before. And they're all in the correct angle where the rocks are facing that eastern end of the park, away from the light pollution, and you can get that core on the crisp, no light pollution side of the sky, and it's turned out terrific. I just wish I had some pictures to show you from that area. When I was up top with Alyn Wallace and he was capturing his first picture, he went up on top of a boulder and we kind of snuck in there tightly together, and I was bumping into him too much, and bumping into him made me feel like I was going to fall or mess up his shot. He just came from the UK, and I didn't want to mess with anything on his because I knew I can come back there. And so I didn't do too much to get my shot at Arch Rock or at Solitary. I just gave way to Alyn, let him take his shot, and went from there. But let's talk about the Astro-modified camera before I lose too much time. If you go to the guild, you can see the other locations that I talk about. Before I hang up this live call, I'll talk about this area over here where you see the blue line. Basically, this is a campground again, and you come off of it, and there's what I call Mohawk Rock. And we'll show that here at the very, very end, but I do want to talk about the Astro-modified stuff before some of you need to go. This section, Skull Rock, behind Skull Rock, if you come off of the road right here and continue back, you come to this rock right here, and that rock is what this is. That Elephant Rock. It's quite cool to see the trunk coming off the head, and then just imagine the legs coming off this shape of a backside of an elephant in the back, and then the head over here. It's just, this is a cool little addition. So if you have a lot of people who are hanging out at Skull Rock and making a lot of light or bothering you, or just you don't have enough space to put your tripod up, you can just continue past here and get a good space that's going to let you get a Milky Way over Elephant Rock. And I believe this, I should emphasize, you're going to do a few of these to get there unless you go down south of it and work your way back towards Elephant Rock. If you want to go straight behind Skull Rock, you'll immediately have to do a bit of climbing up and over to get to this location. Nothing crazy, but just a little bit of work to get you there. And I was going to depend on the video to show you more of the terrain, but here is this screenshot so you can see how Elephant Rock on the left and how the other rocks look in that area that you can frame a Milky Way core around and have that Elephant Rock in there. So of these locations that I really loved in Joshua Tree, Skull Rock, Elephant Rock, the Arch Rock is number 2, the Solitary Rock and Jumbo Rocks Campground, which I'm zooming a little bit so you can see the name, Jumbo Rocks Campground right here, that's the number 1. Arch Rock is number 2. Skull Rock combined with Elephant Rock is a great location, so number 3. And then this area out here by Ryan Campground. Ryan Mountain has a campground on this side, so this is Ryan Campground. And you just come off of the toilet. Here's the bathroom right there, and there's a little turn-off spot. And you pull off from here, and you walk out. And the goal of this spot, this shot, is to get Joshua trees on your right, rocks in the middle, and Joshua trees on your left. And while I'm talking about the comparison of that camera that you're looking at me with versus this Astro-modified EOS R6, you're going to see the picture, the panorama that I caught from that spot we already looked at, which was nearby Arch Rock and this Mohawk Rock. So let's go into Lightroom and end this in Lightroom. Awesome. Okay, man, some of these things not showing up where I want them to be, they make you sweat a little bit. Beads of sweat. You're like, oh no, something went wrong. I can't find something. And you just get a little bit of flummoxed, but we're going to recover from the flummoxing that just happened. As I'm looking at this, I can tell that this isn't showing me the pano from the 5D Mark IV. So let's go into that. And where do I have that fully marked? It's all in red. Okay, here's green. Got to go back and yellow. Yeah, and here's blue. Then where's the one before? I suppose if these are not... Okay, good. These are them. These are them. So this is the 5D Mark IV right here. Let's go into this picture right there. You can see the core. You can show up in detail as I'm working my way across. Row Fuki in the dead center. Now the core in the dead center. And then going across to my left. And the detail that you can see in the foreground, you can see some of the rocks. I mean, the settings are simple. Let me emphasize something that I'm jumping past. In these edits that I did, they are simple Lightroom edits. Nothing crazy. Just what you would do with a single image Milky Way. Some of the stuff that I've done in the past, like my favorite image of all time, was done this way with just a quick, simple Lightroom edit. So I wanted to show off the differences between these two using a basic edit. And so look only at this as a basic edit and a simple panorama coming together. I haven't done any work in Photoshop, and I haven't done too much work to make this change. I still feel like these are the frames of the Astro-modified one. Because if I hit this and go and do that, oh no, it's not Astro-modified, because see, it's not pink. Okay, good. This is definitely them. Awesome. So you can see how all of the stars are coming through. I got a 15 to 30 Tamron. The one you're looking at through, there's Josh. I want to call him Josh every time I go into Joshua Tree with Alyn Wallace. Got Alyn right there, and then goes into the light pollution. So, oh, that's okay. I don't want to do custom order. Let's look back at the side-by-side of the panos. This pano right here, 5D Mark IV, it's going to come into more quality here in a second. Just give it a second here, and we will see it in better framing. Oh, interesting. I'm starting to cause Lightroom not to respond. Let me kill Google Earth. We don't need that right now. Okay. Get some fewer things running in the background. So this is pano from 5D Mark IV. Simply put, no light painting, nothing like that. Just doing a quick pano, and you can see what stars show up. You can see how in this sensor noise that I have, you get a little bit of marooning, a maroon color, a little bit of magenta. And then you've also got the light pollution and the detail that I can pull out from the core without tracking. No tracking, just simply this. Then in comparison, here's the pano from the Astro-modified camera. And let's do a zoom out from that. And it's going to be hard to do an A-B back on a live stream because everything takes a second to really kind of get clear. But the instant things that you will see that I can tell from single image Milky Way photography transitioning from a basic camera to an H-alpha modified camera, the only noticeable benefit, okay, the really noticeable benefit was with the foreground. Look at this foreground, these settings, 13 seconds, ISO 8000, f2.8. And then this one, because of the IRIX, it's a 1.4, so it's a more wide open lens, 8 seconds, 8000 ISO, and the exposure, mostly thanks to the aperture being open, has a lot more detail showing up in the foreground. And then you look also at the detail in the sky. Let's look at some of the nebulas that you know. Let's go ahead and zoom a lot more than 12.5. Let's do 200. Oh, whoa, way too much. 100. Lagoon Nebula right here, and we will compare it with this screen. So I'm going to make this my reference. Okay, drag up here to be my reference, and let's get you around the Lagoon Nebula. You already are, and let's get this one in frame. All right. So can you update your quality? Wonder what's holding it up. There we go. Let's zoom in and let's look at the lagoon. If anything, you're seeing, okay, there we go. That's looking better. I was seeing like a lot of purpling, but that was just before it loaded. All right, Lagoon Nebula side by side. I'm gonna try and get both of these in there. All right. So on the right is my 5D Mark IV, and on the left is the Astro-modified camera. I was talking a lot about the focus issues. Let's show the Roa Fuki. You can really see the focus issues I was having, Clarence. I'm going to talk to him about that and see what he might think. But just with 13 seconds, a little trailing on the 5D Mark IV, but I'm shooting at f2.8, so I wanted to go a little bit longer and only stay at ISO 8000. And you can see how it's mostly circular with a little bit of trails on the smaller stars. You can see more obviously. And in here you can see the coma aberration severely. I tried stopping down to f2 to see what it looked like stopped down without taking a picture, and I wasn't seeing a marked improvement live view to make it worth taking a bunch of pictures at f2 to see if I would like that. I should compare them both at f2.8 if I wanted to compare lens to lens, but I was basically comparing my version of capture with using these two different pieces of gear and trying to make sure I get the same sort of methodology used that if I had my 5D Mark IV, but just grabbing the Astro-modified camera, I wanted to see if I would have an instant benefit that would be completely worth the money and completely worth the time of having two cameras to swap in and out because I wanted Astro modification. At the beginning of this live stream, I mentioned my favorite benefit of this, which is most likely because it's Astro modified, or it could be because of being a mirrorless camera. I wasn't using the EVF, I was using the live view, but this mirrorless R6 had so much clarity and vision on the stars compared to my 5D Mark IV. On workshops, when I go out, getting someone to see a star on the back of their screen is critical to teach them how to focus on the stars. And when you can't see the stars back there, it gets frustrating for everyone involved. I can't see it. What do I do? What do I change? And it's like, well, if your camera will just let us see a star, we'll be fine. It's like, come on. So having that be so easy on the EOS R6, I was so stoked about, but I can't give it credit for being EOS R6 only without seeing what one that's not Astro modified is. I'd have to use one that's not Astro modified next to this R6 that is modified to know if the H alpha modification being done to this, allowing more light to come through, is one of the reasons why there are so many stars to choose from to focus on. So I already love that benefit. Immediately I love that benefit to this camera, and it makes me want it compared to my 5D Mark IV. I've shown people the back of my 5D Mark IV to show off how easy it is to get star focus, and then I use this and it was way easier, except for the IRIX lens coma aberration that was happening, as you can see in these pictures. So I loved how much brighter it was. I loved how much more of the foreground was showing up. And if only I wasn't blitzing Alyn Wallace all around Joshua Tree and trying to hurry, I would have pulled out my tracker. The problem was that this didn't have an L bracket. I forgot to get an L bracket from Clarence. And so putting this on my tracker with my L bracket, where it was just kind of rigged to work but not perfect, I didn't want to put it through a long track and risk dropping this. So I didn't track with this. It was just single image, and a single image shot of this scene in the sky on the right and versus it on the left. You can see how the pinks are obviously showing up. I hope it's coming through in the live stream, honestly. But in my eyes, here in the studio, I can see the pinks so easily without any effort. And I barely made any effort to really get them to pop. There's things that I can do to try and make them pop. Just the detail up here in this section where did I zoom in? It's so much more obvious here. Okay, there by the rift. Okay. This section, just the detail of nebula right there is so much more apparent than on my regular camera. And if I zoom into the Roa Fuki, even though I'm showing off the focus, look at how nice the detail of the dust lane, like Clarence said, the dust lanes will show up just by virtue more of that. This is the same kind of edit. I haven't done any burning or dodging. I haven't done anything different in the edits other than different white balance and some different slider choices because it was so bright on the Astro-modded one and so dark on this one. And so it was really all these dust lane detail and how smooth this is coming out is thanks to the camera and the Astro-modification. If you are a 5D Mark IV owner and you're considering getting mirrorless but you don't want to change your lenses, I highly recommend this R6 after just one outing. It was instantly easy to know where the buttons were because I could modify. I knew where Canon would typically do, and even though my buttons are here on that camera and now they're over here, that took me seconds to get caught up on. And then using the menu system is a breeze since it's the exact same. And I look at this, look at the clarity, look at the detail, look at the quality. 13 seconds, f2.8, ISO 8000. ISO 8000 on the left. 8 seconds, f1.4. You can't see my picture there, but the clarity and the cleanliness of the image is so apparent. This part of the core that's showing up on both sides, it has a clean, like I've stacked look to it already, where here it has a lot more grain and a lot more, sometimes it's texture that's good, and in this case, texture that might be distracting. Let's go out of this RA reference, comparison, and let's look at this Joshua Tree pano where it's at Mohawk Rock. You can see how I was hoping to be really close to this tree. As you can see in this frame, I really, really was. I was right next to it. But even being right next to it in the pano, once I start working with that pano going across, it still gets minimized, at least on this screen as I'm zooming in at this level. Let's do 25. There we go. So this pano, starting from the right, there's Alyn Wallace working on his picture over there. Start from the right, and I go over Mohawk Rock, and then go over here and terminate the Milky Way in another Joshua Tree. That was what I really wanted, and I feel like it almost pulled it off. There's blown out highlights in this exposure right here of all that light pollution. I waited till later in the night to capture this shot. I mean, what time was it? It was 3:17 a.m., and so it was definitely closer to getting the Milky Way up higher where it was further south and closer in that light pollution than it was during, say, Alyn Wallace's shot right here. Light pollution of a, what is that area right there? I guess I got Google Maps closed, but just south of the core right here, further than Coachella, just a little bit next to it, that was lighting up just enough to give that orange glow in his shot right there. And you can see in mine underneath this is the orange glow that's existing, and then over to the right, it's even stronger and terrible. Just comparison again. We'll go full screen. Full screen. It's got such a delay. I click and then nothing happens, so I don't want to click too many times and have it go. Yeah, see? Not responding. Oh, and you didn't go full screen? Okay, here it comes. It's coming. It's going to show this entire pano again because I want to show it compared to the light polluted side. Seriously? Why are you having such trouble? Hopefully our live stream is not having any trouble right now. No, it says excellent connection. We're not having any issues there. I'm not sure why Lightroom is fighting. Hey, there we go. Cool. So the pano side by side, looking at the light polluted side, completely blown out. Oh, there's the orange. Yeah, you can see it earlier in the night. That's right around when we were at the the Arch Rock right here. So you can see that orange right there in Alyn's shot is the same for me here. By the time we were at the other section of Joshua Tree, Milky Way had moved and I didn't see that much, that strong. But man, look at that light pollution compared to that. Oh, I can't emphasize that enough, can I? So let's go back over to Mohawk Rock. Mohawk Rock's panorama almost succeeded. It's almost pretty. I'd like it to be a little lower. And right now, if you're in this area and close to Joshua Tree, let's see, it's probably too late for May, huh? Probably too late for May. So then you'll have to consider it in June. And the first opportunity you can get out there for an early hour Milky Way pano, right when the Milky Way is coming up, as early as you and close as you can to astro twilight, where the moon's not in your way, go for it. Because right after the full moon, it does get out of the way fast. And so this in June, typically, it's a little higher by the time it's finally astro twilight's completed and it's now fully dark. But if you can capture right away and be in this location, I would prioritize it if you wanted something from this rock. Because it's nice to see the silhouette of this rock against the horizon of the sky and then see actual Joshua trees. I mean, if you look at this picture that I was showing you and say it's Joshua Tree, you're like, oh, it really is. That's cool. But if you look at this picture and say it's Joshua Tree, they actually probably beat you to saying it. Like, oh, you're in Joshua Tree. Like, yeah, you see it, Joshua Trees. It's awesome. So Alyn felt like, I can't be in Joshua Tree and not see Joshua Trees in my image. And so he came to this location intentionally to get some good, clean silhouettes of Joshua Trees over the horizon right next to us and feature them in a pano over the rock that's interesting. And this Mohawk Rock by Ryan Campground works out very well. I just wish I wanted the Milky Way a little lower. And I also wish that Joshua Tree wasn't as light polluted. I mean, I was out in an area. Do I have them on here? I don't think I've imported them. And I'm pretty sure I don't have the cards connected. But I was at an area that's secret, that's above Kanab, that has this awesome cave with this awesome sand dune in it. I was in Escalante just yesterday. And so I had these great dark skies. And if only I could get Joshua Tree to transplant itself to an empty area like Escalante in Utah, where you can get away from that light pollution, it would just make me so happy. I want to show you one last thing. One last thing. I know, I'm way past the half hour because Aaron King has no talent for brevity, apparently. And I had a couple things send me a little flummox to the right and left, and I'd had to get myself a little bit back on track. So I apologize for I have this entire folder of images I wanted to share, and then I still managed to not be on track. I think it's just the lack of sleep. You guys are awesomely patient with me for being so tired when I come to these after a workshop week and a half. And so I am just coming back from being exhausted. Looking at these frames, these Astro-modified frames, I want to talk about this one versus this one right here. And let's do an RA side by side. Both of these are captured from the Astro-modified camera. I guess I got to do that in order to get it. But you can see how it's basically before and after. And doing Mary Beth's just change the white balance over, and you doing it here in Lightroom, it works pretty terrifically. As you can see on the right that you got what you'd expect out of the night sky, and on the left it's completely pink and it's really soft. There's something I just love about how soft it looks. And when I look in here after my edit, I feel like I lose some of that softness. I don't know. There's some crunching that happens in this particular edit that I want to take back, but it's not like my clarity is too high. It's at 5. The texture, let's minimize it. Which frame am I actually touching? I am touching this one. So if I hit this, you can see before and after. And if I bring my clarity down, that softness is still not gone because there was a neat overall an overall good-looking atmospheric to it, a visibility down here that goes off into the horizon, where here now they have high contrast between the locations, and the more contrast I add in the sky globally in Lightroom, the more contrast I add in the foreground. So when it comes to Astro-modified cameras, let me just state that if you're going to go for an Astro-modified camera and you want to get the most out of it, there's 2 things that you should do. 1, track with it. Then you're really going to pull out the Mary Beth Kaczynski in your image. You're really going to pull out that awesome detail that she benefits from by tracking with your Astro-modified camera. The other thing I would say is make sure that I lost my train of thought. Track with it, and Aaron? Oh, and use Photoshop. Use Photoshop. These sliders, these global edits, even though I can go in and modify a radiant, I can add a radial filter or a gradient somewhere in here, or even do some luminosity masking in Lightroom, where you're really going to get the best performance out of your image and make some of the pinks show up greater, the nebula coloring show up greater, the details show up greater while not affecting or hurting any of your foreground. It's going to be in Photoshop where you have more control of tweaking. I mean, obviously, if I go in here and I want to, I can add in a filter anytime I would like. And, I'm not going to go, oh yeah, I haven't even clicked on that since the update. I can add my linear gradient and affect everything in the sky but not the foreground, but it's a linear line that's still going to have a transitional period. There's so much benefit in tracking and then stacking because you can affect your foreground that's already been cut from your sky so that you can blend them together anyway and make them look natural, and affect that foreground in a way isolated from your sky and make all of that look really quite perfect. So to get the most out of an Astro-modification purchase, you should track. Then you're kind of stuck using Photoshop anyway with tracking because you want to blend the skies. I know that you can bring in a sky and a foreground now together in Lightroom, something I haven't actually played with yet. I should try it out and select the sky, detecting sky, and it's going to try and detect it for me right now just for fun. Let's see if it pulls up. But this whole area, this whole benefit of the Astro-modification can get lost a little bit if you just do what I did this night, where I treated it exactly the same way as a single image Milky Way shot. I felt like I wasn't pulling out enough, and I just want to undo this. Just go away from that, because it's a cool feature that I need to learn. I need to learn still. Maybe some of you have already used it and we can talk about it. But this comparison of before and after, I love the look of this, and I can see how I kind of changed it in a way here that I want to bring it back to this look. With my work on this in Photoshop, I can make it a little bit more clean and keep this good look while also make it look different, or make the make the white balance get fixed. So let's go into this, turn off the RA. Oh no, I need the RA turned off. I want to just develop, nope, I just want it off altogether. And then I'm going to go and develop this one in front of you so you can just see the changes that happens. Just notice all that I have to do right here with temperature and right here with tint. In fact, I'm going to go quick down here and make sure this is enabled. This is an IRIX lens, and the profile is not in. This is a 21mm IRIX, so I could use the 11mm or I could use the 15. I'll use the 15 even though it's not truly accurate, just so that I can make something that's not so wide angle. This wide angle 11mm, because it's more fisheye, is going to do more of a distortion fix on it that doesn't need to be done on this 21mm. So I'll use the 15 for this sake. But once the profile's loaded, I can go grab it from IRIX, I bet, on their website, and load it into Lightroom. I can use this more correctly. But this is the first step. Enable your profile corrections, remove chromatic aberration. And then you're going to do your white balance in Lightroom, and you're going to try and bring out all of this pink. And so you're going to definitely go from magenta over into the green. And how far into the green? It's kind of hard to know for sure. You don't want to do too yellow or too green, so you kind of find a happy point and then bring down your temperature till it looks like it's the actual rocks. So let's try and find, okay, that's looking more like the rocks, a little too magenta. Okay, that's looking like the color of the rocks in Joshua Tree. I'm going to bring it back from being so blue, and I'm going to go maybe something like that. Right here, let's zoom in a little bit more. You can see the rocks now look a lot more like the rock color. They're not pink anymore. And the night sky has lost the pink for the most part, and it looks more like a blue sky. And this is just changing the temperature down to 2700, and the tint went down to -21 for this camera body. And so you can see how that simple, just tweaking this and then playing with the temperature, is all I have to do. If I want a little bit more warm Roger Clark picture, because I'm doing it globally, I'm looking at the rocks too. I want a little bit more warm sky, but I don't want the rocks to all be too yellow. So I can play around with the tint now and be, no, I don't know, something around there, still good. That's still good for me. And then the comparison back and forth. I didn't have to do much because it's an H alpha, as Mary Beth has shown us a couple weeks ago. Just bringing that temperature down in the tint will white balance fix, and there's other things you can do in Photoshop to then adjust it even more further. The difference from what I did here to the other edit was this one was 25 minus 39, and I had all these other settings. Let's just undo all these other settings except for the white balance. So you can see how this compared to this, the only thing different, oh, I also have an S curve that's been added in here. Oh. Didn't mean to actually delete it from the library. I removed it from the quick collection. You can see how that is simply just 25, 26, negative 39, and this version that I quickly did has a little bit more magenta now compared back and forth. I can see it that I wasn't seeing it before. So I'm going to go a little bit further, and you will play with that on your own to get where you want it, but it's not hard. It's really not. That step is the only different step in Lightroom other than, for all my edits. It's just making sure that this sky is no longer so magenta, so I've overdone it. Instead of ending around 4100, I've ended around 2600 in my temperature. And then my tint is never gone down past, that way down negative 42 or negative 39. I've never gone that far down in tint. And so that is something that you'll do only for your Astro-modification ones. But a regular camera, a regular 5D Mark IV, I didn't have to do that. Let's look at these pictures. So here's this one. And I want all photographs. There we go. And the edit here was 4300 and plus 16. The other one's negative 39, and on a non-modified camera, it's plus 16 in order to get this. And here's what the RAW looks like. You can see that RAW. So this quick edit, quick comparison, back and forth between my 5D Mark IV and an Astro-modded EOS R6. There's definite some quality benefits of the new mirrorless, but there's some extreme differences in benefits with the Astro-modded that aren't quite coming through without tracking and really accenting that color that it's seeing. The longer the shutter, the more the color I'm going to let in, and without that infrared filter blocking that color from the nebulas, I am going to see it so much more strong with this Astro-modified camera. And if I really want to get the benefit of the Astro-modified camera, you just got to track. All right, I have not paid attention to chat for a while as I was getting myself on course with talking about Joshua Tree. I really wanted to share the ups and downs of what went well and what didn't go well, and I spent more time just showing you where we went, here's how we got there, and here's some cool pictures from it and things that you can consider. Not really talking about what went well and what didn't go well. But if there's nothing else you get from today's discussion of Joshua Tree, it's to go to this tree and this rock. Absolutely recommend it. I know that I'm telling probably someone's secret rock and favorite rock, but it's not truly a secret. Greg Benz just did a tutorial where he showed off this rock in the sunset. So you can see it in Greg Benz's videos too. And this right here is the view of the whole space as Alyn and I are walking up on it. And I guess it's in the video. Once I get the YouTube video out that shows it, you'll have some more information on this rock and see me and Alyn actually walking around here. Let's talk about the chat and let's end. Let's get out of here. I went a full hour. Definitely didn't mean to go a full hour, but I could not go any faster than I did, and I need to figure out a better way before next week. The big changes coming to Milky Way Wednesday next week are going to start on Monday. I'm going to have something out Monday that goes with Milky Way Wednesday, and that's going to help me have less flummoxed moments where I'm not getting enough sleep and my brain just kind of like a balloon, the air was let out. So let's go into the chat. Mecca, Joe Harvey says, Indio. Try Sony, Aaron. Yeah, I'm definitely going to get a Sony SS Mold. Absolutely. You always need more cameras. Can't have too many, Kirk says. Chris, Aaron, hit me up for dark sky, Joshua Trees, and rocks. Hit me up for dark sky, Joshua Trees, and rocks. Oh, okay, I know what he's talking about. Getting away from the light pollution area. Because, as I showed Joshua Tree, oh, you know what? Let's just go here. Let's go here. Maps.google.com. And then I'm going to do Joshua Tree National Park. I was showing you my favorite locations inside Joshua Tree, but away from this, here's the light pollution map again. Does Joshua Tree only exist in this quadrant? No, it goes all the way out here. In fact, it shows it includes the wilderness part out here, but then the national park is down there. So if we look back on the map, you can see it too, how it extends all the way over here. Here's my pins of the locations that I loved out there, but there's dark sky Joshua Tree outside, away from all this light pollution in this area. Bermuda Dunes, that's probably what it was, Bermuda Dunes. Oh, Indio Hills, that's what I saw, Indio up there. He's saying it's Indio, probably, that light underneath that core. Okay, cool. All right, man, I need to get better sleep. It's hard doing these things when I get no sleep. So this is going to be good. The change is going to be good. Next week's going to be fun. Pay attention to my YouTube channel for Monday's release. It'll come out by 8 p.m. Mountain Time. I don't know if it'll come earlier than that. I just know it'll be done by 8 p.m. Mountain Time. I'd like to release it during the middle of the day, but we'll see. So in short, there's going to be a pre-released part of my lesson that's coming up in full discussion during Milky Way Wednesday. And so that'll give me some pre-recorded segments that'll help me when I'm in this kind of hazy brain moment. I can just hit play, have good, intuitive, and strong, articulate Aaron say something, and then come back and just comment on it. So it'll make it a lot easier. JM Fody says, can you adjust the tint of the untracked foreground separately from the tracked sky before blending the foreground with the sky? Yeah, absolutely. If you go into Photoshop and open up an image for it, you'll have it in Adobe Camera Raw, and you'll be using those sliders first, and you'll be tweaking your foreground and then tweaking your sky shot and then bringing them together. So in answer to his question of can you adjust the tint of the untracked foreground separately from the tracked sky before blending the foreground with the sky, the answer is definitely yes. And you will be playing with that to make them conform, and then when you piece them together, you will do more to make them look great. What's your thoughts on the Really Right Stuff tripod, Nihar says? Oh man, the Really Right Stuff tripod's fantastic. They can be really bulky, but they're very light still. This week I was hanging out with Keith, and Keith had a Really Right Stuff tripod, and they're here in Utah now. They used to be in California. In fact, maybe I should go to the full chat window. They're in American Fork, just a couple exits from me right now, and so I love their quality. I've seen their quality in action, and I can really say that I'm confident that they are one of the finer quality, controlled, really great American creating, really right tripod creator. I think they're fantastic, and they do really well. I would love the Really Right Stuff tripod. I have a Faisal. The only thing I don't like about my Faisal is it gets so thin at the end of the legs, it can flex in some scenarios. But I never have any problem with the tripod moving. I love my Faisal. Right now it's being held together with gaffer's tape. It's not in here. And it's still working really terrifically, and so it's not bad at all. The wilderness is quite dark, but not much in the way of trees out there. Yeah, Joshua trees. I understand that, Chris. The other Chris. Whose comments have I missed? Ran into a guy on Friday night shooting 5 cameras and 4 trackers. Wow. Okay, sometimes I'm thinking, I'm not going to pull my tracker out because then it's just too much effort, and I just want to get the shot real fast. That guy doesn't think that way at all. He's got 5 trackers going and 4 cameras. Wait, 5 cameras, 4 trackers, 1 without. And Chris says, I'm poor, LOL. Yeah. I'm glad I caught up on that comment that was said a while ago. Thanks for the comments. Amazing shot for Alyn Wallace. Where are the other 20 photogs? Yep, that's the thing. We had a great night with clouds right up until the Milky Way, and so I think we got rid of all the other photographers. Plus, it was middle of the week and not weekend, which is way worse on the weekend out there in Joshua Tree. SS Mold says, best time to shoot Milky Way and Joshua Tree is February to April when it is in the east. 100% agree. I think that is like the Bible for Milky Way and Joshua Tree. Once it's May, realistically, it's not going to be as great. You should just go from there to April. Enjoy the fact that it's warmer there during those months. Get out during that time. My absolute favorite. Oh, could I pull it up fast? I think I could. I know I do this all the time. Blake was just pointing it out. Boom, there it is. Yes, I did it fast. Absolute favorite shot. Neil Zingle pulled off this fantastic. I'm not giving no, it is Neil Zingle's shot. Okay, good. I'm like, it wasn't Ryan Luna. No, it wasn't. It was Neil Zingle. This image is terrific, and it's in February in Joshua Tree at Skull Rock. And Elephant Rock is just behind it over here. You know, you can't see it from right now, but it's just over that ridge. This is such a gorgeous picture in that low Milky Way, all away from that light pollution. Fantastic. And he had a snow dusting on it. It's just, it makes me cry. It makes me jealous so much. All right, am I missing any other comments? With the R6, how did you deal with the LCD always being on? Even brightness down, it seems too bright. He's totally right. He or she, JC, I don't know which one, but you're right. It is really bright. The way I dealt with it is that I don't care that it's bright. Because any brightness on my screen is going to ruin my night vision if I'm worried about night vision. If you're not worried about night vision, you're worried about someone else around you. The thing I loved about this that I couldn't do in my other, that camera right there. I can't do a time lapse unless I take that off of live view. Here, it could be on viewfinder view, and then I tell it to go into time lapse, and it'll just go for it. And then it'll show me on the back of the screen that it's working a time lapse, and I love that. But if it's too bright and I want to get it out of the way of everyone else, I switched it to a viewfinder view, and then inside there I went to the menu, went to my time lapse option, interval timer, click, 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 set it for 3 seconds, interval, okay, boom, 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 unlimited, click, start. And then if I ever wanted to check and see where it was, I just came up to my viewfinder and I can see, yep, it's still capturing, and yeah, it's going to be, what kind of information was I looking at? I was just seeing basically if it was running or not. If I can't recall if it would actually show the shutter seconds. I don't think it did, but it did show the number of pictures that have been taken. So I can see that and go, oh, okay, cool. It's still running, no problem, but the whole back of the screen was black. So when I needed to worry about light, I switched it to the viewfinder. The only time that I needed it to not be on the viewfinder mode, was when I was focusing. Here's my little Celestron eyepiece case that I use for my LumiLoop. This on the back, because that EVS switch is so annoying, so I turn it only to the LCD screen, and I'd look up here and get my focus, and I would say nail it, but the IRIX was fighting me. But that's when I need that to not switch. Other than that, switching was fine, because then when I just moved it into that window and had it permanently in that window for the time lapse, it went great. Dark camera, wasn't bugging anybody. Is the eye autofocus still just as good now on your R6? Good question. I do wonder about that, Jasper. This right here is a Canon created drop-in filter adapter. It lets these lenses, I hold that and I can take this off and put this lens back on. And that's how I mount the lens on this IRIX. And so the drop-in filter is up here. And if I go to the other filter in the bag, I can pull out the, okay, I want this camera to work for the daytime. Ah, yeah, perfect, daytime camera. Oh, I'm going back to night, take the daytime filter out, put the H-alpha filter back in, and booyah, I'm ready for nighttime photography. So my camera is not dedicated to Astro-modified only because of that drop-in filter. It does require this adapter, Canon created, so does it change its autofocus? I imagine there's some degradation to it, but I can't speak for that. You'll have to look it up. But there's a chance, because it's built for Canon, this is Canon on a Canon body, that nothing got lost. I know that in the past when people have considered joining into Sony from a Canon and they want to use their Canon lenses on a Sony, they'll have a marginal loss in fast focus or speed of taking pictures because it's trying to find its focus through that adapter that's allowing your Canon lens to work on a Sony. That was true a while ago. Not that I've looked recently whether that's no longer true. So in this case, I would say, Jasper, probably, but for Astro, it didn't matter at all because I don't care if it's fast. Any restrictions or safety issues at the Joshua Tree if you go alone? Nihar. I would say that Joshua Tree, at least in all these locations, you will never be alone. So when you go alone and anything happens, you just yell, and the campground right there, they'll help you. And if you're like, I got bit by a scorpion or something, I got stung, you will have help at your service because there's so many people out there. when it comes to a dark sky location, going there and being unsafe, I'd say Joshua Tree is at the top of being the safest. Other than, looking at Aaron King doing this, you're really safe. So, trying to work my chubby butt up the hill and doing little maneuvers or standing on these rocks that are a little bit grippy and then slipping and falling and tweaking something, breaking something, slamming your head against it. That's what your biggest concern is. And it's not about being alone, other than if someone hears you and knows that will come get you. And every place that we were, there were people nearby, not capturing, but camping, and they would have heard me. So it's like, here's 5 different campsites right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Oh, 6. There's 6 campsites right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you're here alone, Nihar, you're golden. If you're at Skull Rock and you're alone, you're going to cry because you're so happy that you're actually alone at Skull Rock. If you go to Elephant Rocks, right behind Skull Rock, if you go to the Ryan campground, you're right at the campground. In fact, I was trying to find my car, and I went to hit the unlock button so that I can get the unlock to work. And, okay, there's the car. And I hit the lock button, and I honked at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. Oh, I felt so bad. I honked on them, and the whole campground heard me probably. The Arch Rock, it's really close. You'll hear. I think pretty much all these locations you'll be safe, Nihar. No problem. I just picked up a Garmin InReach and used that last weekend. Oh, I can't emphasize that enough. If you need any convincing that you need a Garmin InReach, you need to come here. Go to just search Photog Adventures Podcast and look up Blake Fair. I told him we wouldn't talk about him while he was gone. Blake Fake. Is that a Blake Fake? Blake Fair. This is SoundCloud. Blake Fair's Milky Way Near Death and Words of Caution.
Hey everybody, welcome back.
Shh. This is the podcast that you need to listen to in order to convince yourself that a Garmin InReach is absolutely necessary. Oh, it didn't move. There we go. So Blake Fair's Milky Way Near Death Words of Caution in 4 years, episode 156. He had a Garmin InReach and it saved his life, as you can see right here. So definitely follow Chris Whiting's advice and get a Garmin InReach. Thanks for your answer. You bet. You're welcome, Jasper. Nikon need to do this for their mirrorless camera adapters. Yeah, you need to have, you're saying these, I guess. Same here. Go alone. I go there all the time. JC Farnham, thanks. I guess you set the EVF down on brightness as well. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I guess the EVF was maybe bright, JC, but I wasn't bothered by it because I expected it to be bright. And if it was bothering my eyes, you do have control over the brightness, as you know already. So, yeah. Kathy said, I had the crap scared out of me last week. I need to start carrying a weapon. My dogs are too friendly to protect me. Nihar says, Aaron, thank you for your amazing sessions. Love your spirit and sharing, brother. Hey, thanks. Thanks for dealing with this. All of you who have come this year and new to Milky Way Wednesday, you guys are saints for dealing with one of my first, kind of foggy days. I thought I had so much information here to share, and I couldn't do it fast in 30 minutes. But next week is the beginning of me doing it in actually 30 minutes. So when you join me next Wednesday, it starts at 7 p.m. Mountain Time still, but we will have a 30-minute session. Go fast that we can get back to your family and your own lives and don't have to hang out with me so long. And that'll be good for everybody. I don't see any questions that are coming through that need to be taken care of. I believe I've caught it all. I'll give you 30 seconds to type it right now, just so that you know. Oh, sorry, guys. I scared my cats. I freaked them out. I moved the seat. Just so you know that you can ask me a question right before I leave. I'm going to hang up here and take off. Just get your question in last chance. I bet I could play these. I'm going to play this for you. Oh, it is working. Check this out. Now, that's a bummer. Can I rotate? No, I can go back. This is basically the Milky Way if you turn your head, and you can see the Milky Way over Arch Rock from standing in this location. And you can see how, it went for me. If I look around the area, I look this way, you can see the rock that's behind me, and then the rock in front of me right there, fitting in the Milky Way with the full pano. And then I did the same thing over here at Solitary. Oh, no, this is from the campground with the Mohawk Rock. I actually don't like that one. Let's go to this one.
Here's at Solitary Rock and Tree. And if you go to the far right of the tree to get the Milky Way off to the right, that's an option. I don't like it. It's not as strong as having the silhouette of the tree kind of angled in towards that Solitary Rock. It's so much stronger this way. But you can see how you can get that Milky Way right on top there. And let's fast forward this to where I move positions. So you can see how parallaxing is such a benefit. Just a little change here. And boom, there is a much stronger shot, even stronger, even better. And then you can see as I get the Milky Way to go on top of it. And then that Milky Way, that core becomes like a beach ball on the nose of a walrus or seal. And that rock is the seal balancing the beach ball of the core on top of it. And this tree is just this accent, this worshiper of the Milky Way core, worshiping along with you of that shot. And I mentioned Greg Benz, so I might as well feature his video. Everyone go out and go to YouTube and look up Greg Benz's video. I want to give him credit. And so type Greg Benz in, go to his videos, and you can see his remove distractions. Recent video, remove distractions in, where do you source your stuff, man? So his recent uploads are not one of these first playlists. I'm just going to click on videos, and you can see that his most recent video, remove dust spots and power lines automatically, remove distractions automatically, and I think he's talking about Lumenzia, his tool. Let's get over this ad. Dun, 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 dun. Just giving some time for questions. You should check out the TT Artisan 11mm f2.8. Okay, so let's look at this again. All those distractions, all those clouds, elements, and then boom. That is his version of that picture right there, and you can just see how gorgeous this rock and tree is. Fantastic. It's awesome that Greg Benz knew about it, and I just found out about it thanks to Alyn Wallace having searched it up and said, we need to find this tree. It's somewhere in this campground, and it stood out instantly when we drove down this campground. Let me answer this question. So, suggestion from Jasper, you should check out the TT Artisan 11mm f2.8. It's an RF lens. Great price. Okay, awesome. I will. An f2.8, I don't typically plan on buying an f2.8 again for a while because I'm going to want something with a wider aperture for tracking, but that's a good suggestion. Nihar says, I see you use a Mac. Do you think there's a requirement of PC? I have both. I have a Mac over there, and this is a PC. If it had been a Mac, you could have watched my videos from my iPhone. Requirement for a PC? No, I mean, there's no requirement for a Mac either. It's one or the other. Nihar, go for the one that you would like that has a good price for you. I can vouch for both. Desktop PCs and Macs, laptop. That's how I see it. If you go for a laptop for PC, you better get a gaming laptop so that it has a lot of good power for running Photoshop and Lightroom and having, good quality. It'll last long. Thanks, Aaron. You rock. Mary Beth, I just kept thinking about you as I was modifying this picture today, processing this picture today. I didn't want to go into Photoshop and do it your way, but I was missing your way, Mary Beth, doing it only in Lightroom. So I'm excited to do your method on my pictures and see how they turn out, especially the one from the secret spot above Kanab. Oh, it's so awesome. It went so well. Kathy and I had a blast. Thanks to Kathy's Jeep we got there. Who am I missing? 30 minutes is too short. Let's give it a try, SS Mold, and see how it goes. If I am efficient, if I am pithy, if I don't get distracted by myself, it might be plenty of time. It might. But I kind of think it's too short, too, for us to hang out and do a Milky Way Wednesday. We'll see how it goes. We'll go back to an hour if it feels like it's way better. And I'll just do a very organized hour instead. We'll make the best of both worlds. Oh, it's only $235. Awesome. Sweet. Beam me up, Scotty, Kirkai says. Aaron's time. 30 minutes equals 60 minutes. Ron, you're so freaking right. That's so true. I say I'm going to go for an hour, and I go 90 minutes. I say I'm going to go 30 minutes, and I went exactly an hour. Oh, I'm heading towards an hour and a half, too. Aaron, shut up. You're so right, Ron. You nailed me, and I'm going to fix it. I like talking to you guys about this, and I won't shut up. So let's just shut up now. Let's move on. We enjoy your non-efficiency, Rhonda says. That's really nice of you to say. Blake was telling me that when I saw him down in Kanab. He said, you know what? Even when you're not saying something, not to be rude, but even when you're not saying something important, it's still fun. And, I take that as a compliment. Even if I'm saying something that's just gibberish and pointless, I'm glad it's still entertaining to hear. That's at least good. That's at least good. We love it, though. Do it. Oh, man. Yes. Okay. Everyone, get out there with your camera. I know May has just had a great time, but May is going to have a second one. And so don't forget to go out again at the end of May when it gets good again. There's 2 good weeks in May where there's a new moon. I think there's 2 new moons technically in May. But I don't know for sure. I need to double check. But it's just we already had a good one. We're going to have one at the end of May. Get out there and have an adventure of your own, okay? All right, everybody. I am Aaron King with Photog Adventures. Thanks for joining me today for Milky Way Wednesday. Next week, come back for a more efficient one. The topic is to be decided. I have a few things I want to cover, and I'm going to decide on the best one to start first. And you will see the first intro video for it on Monday, and then the elaboration during Milky Way Wednesday on Wednesday. All right. Thanks. An hour of your sharing is better than 30 minutes. Hey, there's another vote for an hour is good. Chris says, this is the most fun vlog. That is really nice of you to say, Chris. I'm flattered. Phil says, bye. See you later. Thanks, Aaron. See you next week. Bye, Jasper. And see you, Chris. Don't forget the lunar eclipse. I have forgotten the lunar eclipse. You're right. It's coming up. There was one just a few days ago. It's on the 15th, Kathy emphasizes. Lunar eclipse, the 15th. Don't forget to get out there and capture. I don't own a telephoto lens. Time for me to rent a telephoto lens and get out there. Oh, and Faster. Don't forget my present. It's Faster's birthday. Happy birthday, Faster. Okay, Faster. Hey, email me, aaron@photogadventures.com. For your birthday, I will send you some Photog Adventures bumper sticker and stickers for your stuff. You know, this logo. So if you send me your address, Jasper, and my email, you'll get a present from me. It just won't be the V bracket. So aaron@photogadventures.com. All right, sweet. Laugh aloud. Who needs sleep? Mary Beth says. Apparently I do. All right. See you guys. See you later. Have a good night. Have a good one. And I'll be back next week.